done.
Well, hello, Jets fans. What's good? You're good. That's right. You heard me. You're good. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. This is Green Bean, and welcome to episode 63, is it, of GreenBean's Jets Pod. I honestly lost count. I think this is 63 or 64. You'll know by the title. But welcome nonetheless. I'm glad that you're here. I'm happy to be here. As you saw, I have just spent an entire week on the road. Just wake up in the morning, get in the car, drive the RV till it's dark, sleep, get in the car, drive the RV until it's dark. We've done that. It wasn't a whole week, actually. It was, we left Sedona, Arizona at 11 a.m. on Tuesday morning, which is like right in the middle of free agency, right? I'm like freaking out. I'm trying to suck in all the information, but I'm driving. I'm on the road I'm pulling a rig. And so I'm going across the country. We left Sedona, Arizona at 11 a.m. on Tuesday morning, and we drove all the way through. Now I am in Charlottesville, Virginia, and it's being recorded right now. It's Sunday. So we left on Tuesday driving, Wednesday driving, Thursday driving, Friday driving, Saturday driving, and Sunday driving. So I'm here. You can see after a trip, you gotta have tricks. You gotta have tricks. You can't just, spend your time wiping everything down and all that. I mean, like when you're going to detail it, when you're going to do a deep clean, sure. But when you have a week of 4 people, 2 children and a dog in a little truck, you got to get it out quick. And that's what I do. I'll show you all kinds of tricks. So what's going on, man? I am in such high spirits with the New York Jets right about now. I hope you are too. These are good times, man. Now, look, the Jets for many, many years have been the off-season champions, right? And we don't want to get into that, right? Let's leave that for the Jaguars. The Jaguars spent the most money. They got some names. They got Scherf. They got Kirk. Ingram. They went out there and got all these guys. They overpaid anybody that they needed to. And that's great. And I think, I want to say quietly, not quietly, but more systematically, the Jets just went out there and plugged holes in a very positive, well-constructed way. And I'm excited about that. I am. It feels right. And this is the thing, like in years past, we would need a center, right? We need a center. And Matt Paradis is available. Matt Paradis happens to have Gary V, a diehard Jets fan, as his agent. And we'll go out there and we'll sign CJ Mosley to the biggest contract that's ever been given to a middle linebacker, the year after we gave a huge contract to a middle linebacker named Avery Williamson. It's like going out there and getting Le'Veon Bell. It's like, that wasn't our need. That wasn't our need. So right now, it's different. It's not just going out there signing a big name and making a bunch of hoopla. CJ Mosley, Le'Veon Bell, oh my God. This is, hey man, we have a major hole at right guard. Our first signing, right guard. Pro Bowler. Comes from their system. A guy they have coached before. The specific guy, not a similar guy, not a guy who plays in a similar system. The guy you coached in your system, been to the Pro Bowl, bring him over, plug the hole. What's the other knock? We don't know how to re-sign our guys. So what's the second move? signs the guy. Now, there's all kinds of guys on our team, but we all know who the number one free agent was on Jets fans' minds. We know this. It was Braxton Barrios. Now, is he a number one receiver? No. Is he a pillar of a championship team? Maybe not. But he was important. Why? Why was Braxton Barrios so important? Is it because he's going to fight for the starting wide receiver role? No. It's because of who he is and at the time he is here. He is a guy who we signed off the scrap heap. Okay, he was drafted by the Pats. They cut him, training camp, and we went and grabbed him. He's been on the back end of our roster for a few years, worked himself up, like Joe Douglas said, the right way. He does things the right way. So he's a guy who leads by example. Okay, the whole team loves him. Remember that game where Saleh couldn't coach and Ron Middleton was the head coach for us, and we won. We beat the Jags, and Robert Saleh was on the TV, speaking to the locker room. And at the end of it, he goes, "How about Braxton?" And the place went nuts. They love Braxton Berrios, and it's not only an emotional thing. His talent is there. His work ethic is there, like I just said. His talent is there. He catches 99 out of 100 passes you throw to him. He knows how to get open. He's a fearless blocker. He's got the chemistry with Zach. And not only the chemistry, they happen to genuinely like each other. So they're buddies. So they're good friends. They have on-field chemistry. Zach started to rely on him toward the end of the year. And on top of that, he's an all-pro kick returner. So he was a priority, man. He was a priority. And even though he's not Amari Cooper or somebody like that, it would have sucked to lose him. And it would have sucked to lose him where we were rumored to be losing him to, which was where? The Buffalo Bills. And there was a smooth transition back to the Pats. Bill Belichick loves him so much, he actually called Adam Gase and said, you got a great player here. You nabbed a good one when we signed him off the waiver wire. So the Buffalo Bills were rumored to be in love with him. The Pats are the team that drafted him. We know Bill Belichick loves him. And guess where he's from? Miami. So the 3 spots where we would have lost him to would have sucked. There's no other way to slice it. The Pats would have sucked, the Bills would have sucked, and the Dolphins would have sucked. So there's that too. So there's priority here. Right after plugging your most glaring hole on the entire offense, right guard, which everything goes through, guys. Becton got hurt last year because of the inadequacies of the right guard. How many sacks? You couldn't run. Like the whole thing. It all went through that. AVT's good on the left guard spot. We had a hole. The most glaring hole on the offense was right there at right guard. First move, plugged it with a Pro Bowl guy that they know. Next move, sign the priority free agent that the whole team loves, the fan base loves, we love, works his ass off, the whole thing. So that's what you want to see. That's not going out and paying $21 million to Christian Kirk. It's not going out there and timing a signing with the release of this guy's brand new rap album. You know what I mean? It's different. Ultimately, same exact thing. Just went out there, re-signed a player, and then went out there and signed a free agent. So it's the same thing, but it's completely different. So it's not that we're winning the offseason, right? We're not. I'm looking around. We're getting grades B, C+, B+. I'm looking at the stuff. Nobody's blown away with what we've done, but nobody can say anything really all that negative about what we've done. We're going to get into all that today. We are. It's going to be a fun show. It's going to be a fun show because I'm pumped up. I'm excited about this. And here's the thing. I like football. I like the game of football. That's what I like, right? I come from a different era where guys played with blood all over their pants, where guys would limp on the way to getting back on the line. They'd be limping and they'd put their hand in the dirt and they'd rush the passer. That's what I like. I like guys that would wallop each other. I like guys that play through injury. Now, I don't look, man, I'm not saying anything. It just is what it is. But it's a different era. I like the game of football. I've played through injury. I had a broken hand. You see these scars? You see that? Can you see it? See that scar? And I wasn't even pro. I got into a fight at a bar one time, and I broke my pinky was sticking this way, and my ring finger was up. It was like the ugliest thing you ever saw. I couldn't touch it. I was like, oh, I didn't want it to even be on my body. All right. So I got into a fight. I think I might have hit a wall. That's a different story. But I got into a fight. They had to redo my bones here, and they stuck pins through my knuckles. It's something they call it a boxer's break or something like that. But my bones were shattered, so they had to stick these metal rods through my knuckles. You see the scars, like right there? See that? I still got. I don't know what's going on. I'm always beat up. But so anyway, I had pins sticking out, and then and a cast, right? And I was on a team called the Hiawatha Rats. That was my team. I have a tattoo of the rats and everything. So I'm on a team called the Hiawatha Rats. We're not pro. And we were playing in the Garden State games it was the medal round. The worst we could do was a bronze medal. And we were playing for silver or gold and the whole thing. So we had this game, I forget, somewhere in Northwest New Jersey somewhere. And it was freezing. The ground was frozen. There were like puddles of ice in the middle of the field. You know when the ground is so frozen that like if somebody stepped in the mud, there's like a footprint, but it's frozen. Like if you land on it, it'll cut your arm. That's how it was. I had my hand in a cast, pins. We taped it all up, and I went out there and I played with my hand broken. And guess what position I was? I was a defensive end. I got 2 sacks that game. So that's what I like. I like football. And what Joe Douglas is doing, to me, looks like football. Who did he sign? He goes out there and he gets a right guard, a mauler. Why? For the run game, to protect our quarterback. I like that. Does he trade a bunch of picks for a big, flamboyant kind of diva wide receiver? Nope. He goes out there and he signs a tight end that can what? That can block and catch. That's a tight end. Sure, we have tight ends that are, receivers, and that's okay. And then we have tight ends that basically all they can do is block. What a tight end is for me, my tight end can knock your friggin' pants off in line and then go out there, catch the ball, and then what? He doesn't want to go down because he's 258 and he doesn't have to go down with guys that are 188 trying to tackle him. That's right. I don't have to go down for you. I like tight ends. Everybody knows it. I've made it very clear over the years with you guys. I like tight ends, but that's the tight end I like. I like tight ends that only block, sure. And I like tight ends that only catch. But I love tight ends that block and catch. And then on top of it, when they don't want to go down. So we bring in a tight end, CJ Uzoma, from the Super Bowl losing, but Super Bowl nonetheless, Cincinnati Bengals, brings him in. Good move. I like it. It's not saying I didn't feel like tight end was done or anything like that. Not for 1 second did I. I thought we'd go to the draft and blah-ba-dee-ba-doop. Trey McBride, Jeremy Ruckert, whoever, Ferguson, whatever. But I thought, okay, this is a good start. It upgrades from the vets that we have here. It upgrades Ryan Griffin. It upgrades Tyler Croft, Daniel Brown. It upgrades them. We still got Kenny Yeboah developing nicely. What does he do? He turns around and lets everybody know. We're going to double down on this. We're going to bring in another blocking and catching tight end with long flowing Viking style hair. Tyler Conklin from the Minnesota Vikings, which I've said before, and I'll say it again, just so we're aware, that was who the Bengals were working on to replace the guy we took from the Bengals. We got them both. So what does that tell you? And this is what I'm telling you, I love football. It tells us something very, very important. And a lot of Jets fans are having a hard time understanding this. We are going to feature tight ends in this offense. 12 personnel, potentially 22 personnel. What does that mean? That means we're going to have 2 tight ends on the field a lot of the time. Not all the time. You'll still see 3 wide receiver, 4 wide receiver sets, empty backfields, all that kind of stuff. You're still going to see it. But what they're telling you right now, they didn't just take a tight end and it feels nice and quietly, just, a little upgrade action. No, they let you know. We went out there and spent serious money, not overt money. We're not talking extravagance, smart contracts. Smart, quality, not cheap, not bargain basement, but not, throwing money around contracts. We bring in 2 vet tight ends that can block and catch before the draft even starts in a strong tight end class. And why? Because we're telling the league, we want to be 12 personnel. We want 2 tight ends out there. We want to protect our quarterback, and we want guys that are going to catch the ball, be safety valves, release valves for Zach Wilson. When you think you're going to get him, his tight end's going to be open, and they're not going to go down. You're going to have your hands full with the New York Jets. That's what they're telling you. And why didn't we sign a receiver? Blah, blah, blah. We're going to get to all that. We're going to get to all of it. But right out of the gate, right guard, tight end. And we brought back our receiver. Now, of course, there are more guys. But what'd they do? Where did they come from? We re-signed Tevin Coleman. We brought back a little Joe Flacco action. Why? Continuity. Okay, good. Tevin Coleman was a good leader. He was a vet for the young running back room. Great. Bottom end contract? No problem. Bring him back. Did some nice things for us this year. Great. Joe Flacco? Joe Douglas likes him. Robert Saleh likes him. They traded a 6th-round pick for him. Keep him around. He's good with Zach. He was good for the quarterback room. Then we tender Mike White. Why? Because we want him too. We like our quarterback room. But if you're going to take one, we get a 5th-round pick for it. Fair enough? Deal? Deal. That's what we do. Then what are the other glaring needs on our team? Well, we know about edge rusher. We know about that one. And we got one. Now, is it a, top tier edge rusher? No. He's a guy with a high motor, known as a positive team guy, high energy.
Down, Houston! Come on! Come on! Yes, sir!
Loud, upbeat, all that sort of stuff. And he's here to replace the Vinnie Curry, Ronald Blair, rotational guy that we had last year. We gave it to vets last year. This year, we're giving it to some, a guy a little bit younger. And he's here to rotate. Fantastic. Doesn't solve the position, but it's an attempt at bolstering it. I like it. But what's the other one? Cornerback. Now, it could be argued that our cornerbacks are fine. We used a bunch of late round picks the last 2 years. You got Bryce Hall, Brandon Eccles, Michael Carter II, Jason Pinnock. We even have undrafted free agents like Javelin Guidry and Isaiah Dunn in the mix. And you could argue that second year in the system, they're going to improve. They made it through their whole rookie year, bumps, bruises, mistakes, all that stuff. Learning the system, they know it. Going into the second year, full Jets off season, it can be argued that we're fine there. We're fine at cornerback. See how they do second year. If they don't do that well, we can upgrade next year and we can focus on cornerback. But they went out and they got DJ Reed from the Seattle Seahawks, a top 10 cornerback statistically via PFF. I can't tell you I know all that much about him. I can tell you he's the guy that Jamal Adams completely cleaned the clock of his own teammate? That's DJ Reed. You remember that one? They were running toward the sideline. Instead of tackling the receiver, Jamal Adams decides to lower his shoulder and just knock the hell out of his own player. That's DJ Reed. It makes a lot of sense why he said, I got to get the hell out. I got to get away from this guy. This guy's a loose cannon. Screaming and yelling all day about how great he is. And he comes out here, misses a tackle, and tackles me. I'm out. Maybe that had something to do with it. DJ Reed went as far as to say the offer that Seattle gave him to re-sign him, they wanted him back. They gave him an offer. He said it was disrespectful. Now, I didn't dig much deeper than that, but we filled the cornerback need. Now, what does that do? It adds a younger vet. He's a vet, but he's on the younger side. We added him to the room. Now, is he cornerback one? I don't know. Probably. Again, top 10 statistically. We went and did that. And then we have him added to the mix with Bryce Hall. He was our 5th round pick in 2020 with the other guys. So we just add him to the room, see where it goes. What's the other one? We got no safeties. We got Ashton Davis and Wild Goose. So in just a couple days, we re-signed Lamarcus Joyner, who we never got to see last year. I don't have all that much confidence in what he can do. He's supposed to be pretty good. He was good at safety. They put him at nickel and for the Raiders, he didn't do so well. He came over to us, supposed to be a big thing, and he got injured game 1, so we didn't see him. So they re-sign him. Let's push reset and see if we can get anything. Great. But then we go out and we get an excellent young safety, Jordan Whitehead, who I happen to like immensely. I like this signing a whole bunch. So we're plugging holes with free agency. Do you see this? Plugging holes. Yeah, we need a little edge help. Go get it. You need a right guard? Boom. You need tight ends? Boom, boom. You need a cornerback? Boom. And you need a safety. There you go. And it's all in there. But there's a message that the Jets are sending here. There's a message that they're sending. The last couple years, I had to clean this place. Had to do it. This place was filthy with the goo of Mike McCagnon and John Idzik and Tannenbaum. The walls were coated with their failure. And it took years to clean it. Jamal Adams, Sam Darnold, Chris Herndon, now Marcus May, Darren Lee. You had to get rid of all this stuff. But what's the best way to get it? Not just going in and cutting everybody doesn't make any sense. I could. Trumaine Johnson, Quincy Enunwa, Kelechi Osemele. It's all part of the purge. It's all part of the purge, man. Brian Winters. All these guys. Leo Williams. It's all part of the purge. But patience prevails. Because not only did we get rid of them and get their contracts off of our docket, we got a whole additional draft class worth of capital that we are now able to use. We used a little bit last year, got AVT, not two shabs. We got AVT, and now we have 9 picks in this draft, a lot of which were accumulated via the purge. Our entire free agent class looks like this. Joe Flacco, Tevin Coleman, Braxton Barrios, CJ Uzoma, Tyler Conklin, Laken Tomlinson, Dan Feeney. Everybody loves that one. Crunch with beer cans on his head. Played better at center. It's fine. Nathan Shepard, defensive tackle. Jacob Martin, the edge. DJ Reed, Jordan Whitehead, Lamarcus Joyner. Okay, pretty good. Now, here's how it breaks down. I'm going to talk to you just for a moment about comp picks. Every year, people ask me, are we getting any comp picks? Are we getting any comp picks? Well, it's been no forever. Why? Because we don't have free agents worth a damn that anybody wants to give contracts to. And we need free agents to build this team because the drafting has been so poor for so long. A decade of bad drafting. And I mean bad drafting. You know, we were watching these drafts. I don't know if you had any presence of mind at the time, but how many drafts I watched and said, what the hell is this? Calvin Pryor? Dean Milliner? What is this? What are we doing? So that adds up. So we never got any comp picks, which is compensation picks awarded from the NFL for losing free agents. We never got them because we always needed to sign more free agents than we lost. And when we did lose free agents, the contracts wouldn't amount to anything anyway. Max, we'd be getting sevenths at best. So let's keep track of where we are this year. Now, we signed 6 external free agents. So that's the number currently. Now, this could change at any moment. You know this. But so far, we have 6. And here's the interesting thing. Already, we're at 3 who signed from our roster. That's Marcus May down in the Saints, Morgan Moses with the Baltimore Ravens, and Foley Fadukasi with the Jags. Now, all 3 of those contracts are on the nice side. We're talking anywhere from 3rd, 4th round picks if this holds. So we signed 6, we lost 3. So we're 3 behind on the comp picks. Now, is there any chance of this catching up? Can we do it? Well, let's take a look. Here's the top end of who we still have. There are more guys that might be able to get signed, but here's the top end of who we have to offer the league to see if they get signed and that we can catch up to the 6 that we signed and maybe even pass it. Because let's say we don't sign any more guys. 6 is it. Stay at 6. Let's say we stay at 6 for argument's sake. We have to lose 3 more to break even, and then every one that we lose after that is potential to be a comp pick if they qualify. All right, there's a window. So let's take a look at who we got. Number 1, top of the list, we have a guy by name of Jameson Crowder. Jameson Crowder, wide receiver. In truth, you want to know my secret, deep, dark desire? I hope that we just turn around and re-sign him for 2 years. That's what I want. I would prefer that. Continuity, the guy's a great team player, never complained, has been part of just an atrocious period of Jets football, arguably the worst in our history. So let's say, though, we don't re-sign him. We have Jameson Crowder, we have LDT, another guy I hope we re-sign, but Jameson Crowder, LDT, Lawrence Duvernay-Tardif, Alex Lewis is still out there, Jared Davis, Keelan Cole, Tyler Croft, Kyle Phillips, and Greg Sinat, tackle. He might get signed. So what does that leave us with? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys. So if they all get signed in the window and we don't sign anybody else, that would leave us with 5 potential players that could count toward the comp pick formula. Now, we're only allowed 4 per year. That's the max. That's the cap. You're only allowed 4. But if this happened, if all of those guys signed and we didn't sign any more free agents that qualify as well, guys that were not cut, who are just unrestricted free agents, we would have 5 potential guys. Now, then it would go toward the contracts and see where those guys are. If they sign bigger contracts, you get higher picks. That's how it works. So we could conceivably be in line for comp picks this year. I'm going to keep you posted. If we lost Crowder, LDT, Jared Davis, Keelan Cole, and we don't re-sign anybody, we're in line for it. Start getting free picks from the NFL. And who knows? Who knows? Maybe we get a 3rd round pick because they count Marcus May. Marcus May is a 3rd or 4th. He's up there. Maybe 4th. How nice would it be if we got 2 4th round picks out of the deal here? Wouldn't that be nice? So it's interesting. It's an interesting thing. And when we talk about guys like Jameson Crowder and even Keelan Cole, I was just in a conversation with my Patreon guys on Discord, and a few of them are in favor of re-signing Keelan Cole. Now, I might not be. Well, let me say it this way. I would prefer Crowder if we sign either one. That's just me. But if they decided to bring Keelan Cole back, I honestly wouldn't have an issue with it. I happen to like Keelan Cole. I don't love him. I don't think he's a really an impact player, bottom of the group, wide receiver 5 kind of thing. That's how I see Keelan Cole. But he's also a very positive team guy. They love him. He's always kind of rah-rah on the joint, and they think he's funny. I haven't seen anything he said that's too funny, but that's me. different strokes for different folks. But the team loves him. He's got a great personality, and he's very, very positive, in addition to being a wide receiver that has some skills. You saw, he had one of the best catches we ever saw. It ended up being called back. Mike White, remember that? Fantastic. So he's got the skills. When we talk about wide receivers, maybe we go the route of re-signing guys. Jameson, Crowder, and Keelan Cole. What if that's the way we go, guys? Would you have a problem with that? Again, you have to remember that last year, it was all about learning the system. We had rookies all over the place. And when they weren't rookies, they were still first year in the system. Keelan Cole, Crowder, they're vets, but it was their first year playing in this system, playing with this quarterback, playing with these coaches. So there's a lot to be said for year two. If we re-signed Keelan Cole and Jameson Crowder, our wide receiver room is done. Now, you might want upgrades. I get it. But having Corey Davis, Elijah Moore, Keelan Cole, Jameson Crowder, Denzel Mims, Braxton Barrios, it's not a bad wide receiver room, especially when you've already put the NFL on notice that we're going to be a 12 personnel team. That means 2 wide receivers on the field. When you're running more 12, and like I said, potentially even 22, because we re-signed Nick Bawden, which is a fullback. That means they want him on the field with the other running back. There's going to be very few times that Nick Bawden is the solo running back. So he'll be on there with Michael Carter, or if we bring somebody else in, Tevin Coleman or whoever. So right there, you got 2 running backs. If 2 tight ends are out there, you only got room for 1 wide receiver. Sounds crazy. But when you have 4 guys on the field that can all block, all run, all catch, it changes things. So we've already let the NFL know we're a 12 personnel team, or at least we're going to be factoring that in heavily, especially when we turn around and use a second or third on another tight end. It's coming. Brace yourselves. You guys don't think it. And even if that means Kenny Yeboah goes, I love Kenny Yeboah. Love him. All I want is the team to be good. If that means they need to bring in Ruckert and because Kenny Yeboah, fine. I still think Kenny Yeboah is going to make the squad. I do. I like Wesco too. And if that means he goes, it is what it is, right? We just want the guys that can best benefit our team. But when we're looking at wide receiver, there is a lot of debate. There's a lot of concern. Jets fans are losing their minds, and I have the solution. I have the quell to all the mania. And for that, let's get into the intelligent gripe. I was on Twitter just today. Like I said, I drove 2,136 miles in the last few days. And I arrived and I detached my truck from the rig and we stabilized it and I picked up Twitter. I started, and what I'm seeing out there, and I stopped in Jetnation too, there's a lot of that there. Everybody is freaking out about wide receiver. Now, what's the trigger? 2 triggers, really. One was last week, right before free agency started. The Jets were rumored to be a part of really a 2-team debate battle for Amari Cooper from the Dallas Cowboys. As we know, the Cleveland Browns got Amari Cooper, and Jets fans went nuts. Went nuts, especially with the compensation. A fifth! Completely forgetting that it's $20 million and no guaranteed money, which means you could cut him, but then why trade a fifth and pay him $20 million if you're going to let him go next year and start over? So, but Jets fans went ballistic. I talked to quite a few off the ledge. Then we start free agency and things are good. And what happens just the other day? A 6th round pick was dangled in front of the Rams, and they took it and gave Robert Woods, a pretty damn good wide receiver. We're losing out on Amari Cooper, coupled with Robert Woods going for a 6th. Jets, that's too much. Too much for Jets fans to handle, because the overarching sentiment is that the Jets have a glaring hole on this team, and it's wide receiver. How could we possibly go forward with this wide receiver group that we have? I'm going to tell you something. I like Robert Woods. I like Amari Cooper too. I would not have been upset in the slightest if we brought either one of those guys in. Just telling you. I would have been happy. I might have even preferred Woods. I know there's the injury, and because of the money, you know what I mean? He's $7 million or $6.5 million less than Amari Cooper this year, so that would have helped. But either way, I would have been happy too. I want you to know that. I want to put that out there first. But not getting him doesn't mean that Joe Douglas sucks, and it doesn't mean we're doomed. It doesn't. He's one guy that we didn't get. It's no problem, and we don't even know if we even wanted him. Why? Well, he had an ACL tear last year. He's turning 30 years old, and he cost $14 or $13.5 million. It goes to $14 million, then it goes to 16 and then $18 million. Now, people will argue that, well, it's not guaranteed, so you could let him go. Well, then why the hell bring him over? We have a young quarterback who, having talent around him is really, really paramount to his success. But right underneath that, guys, having talent that's here with him for more than 10 minutes. That is not the formula. That's not the way to build this guy's career. You want guys here with him for 3, 5, 8, 12 years. Like, that's what you want. You want Zach Wilson to have telepathy with his receivers. That's what we need. We need these guys to be able to speak telepathically. That happens with time together. So bringing in Amari Cooper, bringing in Robert Woods, and then not being able to, say, it didn't work out and start over for the money, for whatever, it makes zero sense. None. It might be fun this year. It might help Zach this year, but then he's gone again and he has to push reset and he's got to do it all over. Now, once a quarterback has 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years in the league, that might be fine. He's already entrenched. He's been in the offense. He knows it doesn't matter who's here. It's like a Tom Brady thing. Didn't matter which receivers he came, that he ended up getting. 2 years with this guy, 2 years with that guy. Doesn't matter. It's his offense. You just do the thing that the last guy did. Here's what I need you to do. That's it. And don't do anything else. And we're going to be fine. That's not where we are. We have a young, impressionable guy trying to develop as a quarterback in the NFL. You want guys with him for as long as you can do it. Elijah Moore, they're rookies together. Get these guys on the same page. So that's the thing. That's why I'm not so bummed out about it. So we didn't get Amari Cooper and we didn't get Robert Woods. It's fine. It's fine. I want to remind you of another thing too. Another little silver sliver here. The Rams just got a 6th for Robert Woods. Joe Douglas just got a 6th for Blake Cashman. Okay? A 6th round pick for Blake Cashman, a guy with all due respect has been completely unable to be on the field in 3 years. And then you can add that 2 years in college. The poor guy, he can't stay healthy. He's got all the talent, all the drive, all the work ethic in the world. Everybody loves him. He can't stay on the field. He can't do it. He would get injured, come back, get injured that game. Watu is putting out a great article this week on GreenBean'sJetsfan.com. He breaks down every single Blake Cashman injury, how it happened, when it happened. This is what we're looking. He got a 6th round pick for that guy. So yes, we could have, it's not expensive to get Robert Woods as far as draft capital, but don't forget what Joe Douglas did on the back end. He got the exact same compensation for a guy who's almost never played. He played like 7 games in the NFL. In 3 years that the Rams got for Robert Woods. So there's that. So what do we do if it's not Amari Cooper, if it's not Robert Woods, if it's not trading the 10th overall for DK Metcalf that so many people are talking about? What can we do? We're stuck. Free agency's almost over. Well, here's what I got for you, Jets fans. Okay? Number one, I want to say, take a breath. Let's calm down. Calm down, okay? It's not the glaring hole that you think it is. Here's what I got for you first. First thing, like I just said, with the free agent signings of the tight ends, it's clear to me. We re-signed our fullback. We signed 2 free agent tight ends. We already happen to have a young tight end on the roster. We still have Wesco and Griffin and Brown, and Tyler Croft's a free agent, though. He's not there. But we have more tight ends on the roster than we've ever had. Now, obviously, a lot of those we want to let go. But guys, we put out the memo to the NFL. This is what we're going to be. We re-signed our fullback and we signed 2 tight ends. Again, when you're in 12 personnel, you only need 2 wide receivers on the field. So if that's our base package, which I don't know if it's going to be our base package, that's going to be who we are, but it's definitely going to be a heavy part of what we do this year. 12 personnel. That means you don't have 3 wide receivers on the field. So that's number 1. So when you have Corey Davis, Elijah Moore, Barrios, Denzel Mims, whoever, Keelan Cole, Jameson, Crowder, you're only using 2 of them at a time. That's number 1. So as we move into this, what Mike LaFleur wants to do, which is feature the tight ends, we're not going to rely so heavily on the wide receiver room, which number 1 will more than likely keep more guys healthy for a longer time, but then you're relying on the wide receiver position less. Here's number 2. Here's what I got for you. I know a lot of Jet Nation has completely bailed on Denzel Mims, but here's what we have to remember. He's 23 years old. The bad season is the anomaly as it stands right now. He's not, I see him compared to Stephen Hill. Dude, that is the most ridiculous comparison that I've ever heard. He's not Stephen Hill. Stephen Hill was picked purely on his measurables. Denzel Mims has an exceptional collection of college stats, production. He came in his rookie year. He had a good rookie year. Strong. The beginning of last year, again, when they used him, he played fine the first half of the season. So he's got essentially a second half of a season where he was lost. Looked like hell. I don't know what happened to him. But he's 6'3", 4.38 speed, high pointer, can take the top off the defense, great blocker. He's still here. So let's just see what happens there. So he's already in the mix. In the event Denzel Mims just played like Denzel Mims, like the guy we drafted, which was only 2 years ago, by the way. If he just does that, we have the wide receiver room is done. Just like that. Just like that. So let's remember that he's here. Again, I know most people are just written him off, which is mind-blowing to me. I don't know what's going to happen with him. I have no idea. 23 years old. Marcus May was older than that when we drafted him. So was Nathan Shepard. They weren't even in the league at 23. Okay, so there's that. Let's remember he's here. We re-signed Barrios. We all like to call him wide receiver 4. It's what we all like to do. We don't know. This staff might believe Braxton Barrios is ready to be wide receiver 3. And why wouldn't he be? Why couldn't he be? Remember how mad we were when we let Danny Woodhead go? Remember how much everybody laughed when Wes Welker was the featured guy in New England? How did he end up? Remember when they had Welker and Edelman? Everybody said, Edelman will never be he's not Welker. Look at Julian Edelman. Okay? These guys that work their asses off and they just do everything the right way, slow and steady, production and progression. Why not? We don't know. This staff might think we already have our wide receiver 3. It's Corey Davis, Elijah Moore, Braxton Barrios, and we're going to be a 12 personnel heavy. And we have Denzel Mims behind him with Jeff Smith, who I just really don't have any faith in. So we have 12 personnel, which is 2 wide receivers on the field, 22 personnel, which is 1 wide receiver on the field. It'll probably be Elijah Moore. 2 tight ends, fullback, running back, Elijah Moore. If they're going to run out of that package, you don't want Elijah Moore. Maybe you bring in Corey Davis or whoever, Denzel Mims. We have all that here. It's all already here as a baseline. But guys, free agency is only 1 week in. As of today, when you're watching this, it's only been a week. Can we make a trade? Sure. Can we re-sign a guy? Yep, we got Crowder and Keelan Cole out there. Can we sign a free agent? Sure. We can still do all that stuff. It's only been a week. So there's all that. There's all that. I'm handing to you for the wide receiver dilemma. Everybody losing their minds. All these things apply to the situation. You want to hear the last one? This is the last one, and it's the biggest one. We have 9 picks in the first 5 rounds of the upcoming draft. 9 picks in the first 5 rounds. 4 picks in the first 38 players in this draft will be New York Jets. What is the concern? They plugged holes. We plugged right guard. We plugged tight end. We plugged safety. We plugged cornerback. We got a rotational edge rusher. We re-signed a running back. Got our backup quarterbacks. Got our fullback. Got a rotational defensive tackle. And we have 9 picks in the upcoming draft. 9. 4 in the top 40, guys. Do you know, this is going to blow your minds. Are you aware that 1 or 9 of those can be used on wide receivers? It's the easiest thing in the world to do. Now, look, if we don't want to use 4 or 10 on a wide receiver, it still doesn't leave us in any sort of problem. It still doesn't leave us in trouble. Because at 35, 38, and 69, there are going to be guys there that will be studs in the NFL. Who am I talking about? Well, if you're going to take a wide receiver in the first round at 10, you're going to probably get the top wide receiver in the draft. Now, I happen to think the top wide receiver in this draft wouldn't be in the top 5. He'd maybe be the 5th wide receiver taken last year behind Chase, Waddle, Smith, Tony. So there's that. That's why I don't really want to see them use the 10th overall pick, but let's say we do. You get the best wide receiver in the draft, namely Garrett Wilson, Treylon Burks, Olave, whatever your flavor is, whatever guy they like. Would that help? So you got 12 personnel. You got Elijah Moore. You have Corey Davis, you have Denzel Mims, Braxton Barrios, and we add Garrett Wilson. Do you feel better? Let's say we're not done. Let's say we add Garrett Wilson, and then at 69, we go and we grab Romeo Doubs or Trey Turner. You could use 2. You could grab Kyle Phillips. But let's say we don't use the 10th overall pick on a wide receiver. Are we doomed? No. Because sitting there in the second round are going to be receivers, probably a guy like Jameson Williams, who might not be ready for the first half of the year. But dude, if you get Jameson Williams at pick 38, that is a steal of steals. But let's leave him off. Let's leave him off. You got Christian Watson. You got guys like David Bell. You got George Pickens, one of my favorite players in the whole draft. There are guys there. In the second round, guys like Dotson, Mechie, Skymore, they're all going to be there. They're all going to be there. You could take Garrett Wilson at 10 and take Jahan Dotson at 38 if you want. He's going to be there. Mark my words. One of those guys, and more than likely many more, are going to be there in the second. We have 2 of the top 5 second round picks. 2. There is no need to freak out about wide receiver. The fact that Joe Douglas hasn't added a wide receiver yet, it actually makes sense. Why bring a 30-year-old in here coming off an ACL that costs $14 million? When I can use pick 35, bring in a guy who's going to cost $2 million for 4 years, and he's going to grow with Zach Wilson. I don't have to push reset in a year or 2 years and start this process over. I'll have him. Think about this. We go and we grab Garrett Wilson at pick 10, which again, I'm not supporting. If we did it, I'm fine. I'm great. That's the way they want to go. I love it. Because I love the player. But I think we're going to be able to get guys in the second, third. It's fine. But let's say we grab Garrett Wilson. We now have, for Zach Wilson, growing with Zach Wilson, Elijah Moore and Garrett Wilson, growing with him, and Michael Carter and whoever the next running back is that we bring in to pair with Carter. Does that not sound fantastic? Especially when we have two tight ends that can block and catch. The wide receiver position is fine. The only problem with our wide receiver position as it stands now is that we are freaking out. That's it. Now, do I understand? Of course I understand. I get it. I want to add a wide receiver too. But there's no reason on the heels of not trading for a 30-year-old ACL $14 million wide receiver. There's no reason on the heels of not getting him to be concerned. None. That's not the guy they wanted. They could have had him, clearly. Clearly, they could have had him. Amari Cooper. We heard later that they only really checked. It wasn't an ongoing negotiation like we were told. It was just like, yeah, what is that going to cost? Okay, we can't renegotiate his contract. Nope. Well, we're not going to pay him $20 million. That's not what we're doing. They didn't want him. It's not the guy they want. They want to bring guys in that are young, that are going to grow with Zach Wilson, and that they can develop chemistry and be here for more than 10 minutes. We don't want to do this again next year if we can avoid it. And we don't even know. Braxton Barrios might be a fantastic wide receiver 3, given the opportunities. Plays well. And that is the intelligent gripe. So, Jets fans, I sincerely hope that you are having as much fun as I am. I am so excited about what we're doing. Because, guys, when we look at the whole crowd that has been unhappy with the Jets general manager, Joe Douglas, because we look at the wins. Since he's been here, he had a 6-2 ending to make 7-9 his first year, which he didn't do anything for that team. Very little. Brought in Nate Hairston, Demaryius Thomas, Ryan Khalil. What could he do? And then he has a 2-win season with Adam Gase, fires Adam Gase, and then they come in and have a 4-win season. So when you look at it just on the surface, people aren't happy. But isn't it nice just to wait a minute? We watched him accumulate assets. We just watched him accumulate assets. Trade him, cut him, bring this guy in, push him out, wait till the dead money's off. All the dead money's gone. He's got millions and millions of dollars. He's got a whole bunch of draft picks. Isn't it nice to wait till after he goes shopping before we can complain about what's for dinner? It's like Friday night. He just got paid. He worked all week. He just got paid. Let's let him go out there and spend the money and spend the assets before we complain about the results. He hasn't even used his assets yet. This is the year we're using the assets. And so far, with the deliberate way that he's plugging holes, I think we're off to a good start, Jet Nation. I really do. Guys, let me know in the comments. Are you freaking out about wide receiver? Or you just can't wait? You just want a name? Is that what it is? Tell me who it is. Let me know in the comments. As you know, I love talking to you. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. If you want to support the channel and get exclusive Green Bean content right in my Patreon, that is the best way to do it. We have an absolute blast in my Patreon. Daily contact. Yeah, it's the best. We're having a blast in there. You can join it. You can become a beanbagger too. Just click the link in the top of the description and join the fun. Guys, I hope you're having a great week. I am going to go to sleep. That's what I'm doing. I'm toast. Going to bed 2,100 miles is a lot in a couple of days pulling a rig, I'll tell you. But have a great week, everybody. And as always, go Jets.